Hey, so today I want to show you how I post on LinkedIn in just under 20 minutes every day. I'm going to be using my custom GPT called the Voice of Impact. It's available to you for free if you want to use it. You find it in the link below. And I'll just quickly walk you through how I do a post. The first time it takes a bit longer. It's still under 20 minutes though. And then following on from this, every day it takes about 5 to 7 minutes. So I hope you like it. Put your questions down in the comments, and then there's a little bit of a secret word in there for you to contact me through so that we know that you've seen this. Okay, so I haven't done a post for today. Usually I have an ongoing conversation, so every day I just go to it and say, let me help me with a new post. But for the first time when you're using this, it understands your customer avatar, puts itself in the shoes of the customer avatar and asks you a question because I feel it's much easier to answer questions rather than come up with content from scratch. So I thought it'd be a really good idea to kind of just show that to you and walk you through the process. So the first thing it's going to do is ask me about my ideal customer avatar. And it says, who would you absolutely love to help and serve with your work? So I would love to help clinicians who want to become founders. And I'm just going to talk into ChatGPT because that makes it easier for me to just get my ideas straight out, and I don't have to have framed it or thought much about it. It'll help me through the process. It asks me then, what specific outcome do you want to help these clinician founders achieve? I want to help them become six-figure founders of a business that gives them more time, more impact, more income, and gives them back the life that they want, but also be able to fulfill the potential that they know they can achieve. Just creating this custom GPT in itself was a great experience, and I've seen it kind of evolve, and there's different models. So at the moment, I'm using GPT 4.5, which is really great at writing tasks. You can play around with it as well. Like O3 will do more reasoning, 4.5 will do more research and writing. So, I mean, it can kind of give you what each model is kind of made for here as well. So you can just pick and choose whichever you want. I think the custom should work with each of them. Right. So it says, what are the top three challenges your ideal clinician founder faces right now? So the three challenges they face, and this is based on speaking to a lot of people and the clients that I work with. One is that they don't know where to get started. They struggle to get consistent in hitting milestones on a similar topic. They try a couple of things over and over again, and they keep doing the first level of each thing. The second challenge is that they struggle to get traction or buy-in for their idea, and they're willing to go to large lengths to create a product and make the solution, but they don't often manage to get the buy-in. And lastly is the monetization piece. They struggle to monetize it in a way that's in keeping with their lifestyle, something that gives them back the time so that they're not going from being a employee in the healthcare system to being an employee in their own business. They really want to be founders. So this is the bit that it kind of does for the first time, and then any future conversations you have with it will be remembered. So it'll remember your customer avatar, and the next time it'll just ask you questions, assuming the role of your avatar. So here it's giving me a summary. Clinicians become My ideal avatar is clinicians who dream of becoming successful six-figure founders. They deeply desire more time, impact, and income, the freedom to live their lives in their own fulfilling terms. It's stating the top three challenges again, making sure that it's got it right. And it says, now on, I'll tailor every LinkedIn post we create together to deeply resonate with this ideal clinician founder. Right. Now, every time you're going to ask for help with a new post, this is the bit where it's going to start from. It's going to ask you how, what, or why based on the strategy we talked about earlier. So let's go with how for today. And that's all I got to say. And what now it's going to do is put itself in the shoes of my ideal avatar and ask me a question or give me a couple of questions to choose from that I can pick out and just simply answer. So here's three questions. So what process for helping clinician founders get unstuck and start hitting consistent milestones? Second question is, how do you help clinician founders build buy-in so that the big ideas actually gain traction? What's your method for helping clinician founders monetize their business in a way that creates freedom instead of overwhelm? So they're all super relevant questions, and I can choose whichever one to answer. And I think right now they're very big, broad questions. So can you make the question a bit more specific and niche so I can answer it for a short LinkedIn post, please? And then hopefully it'll give me some niche questions that are more specific. So let's see what it does. So what's the first thing clinician founders need to do consistently move from idea overwhelm to measurable progress? How do clinician founders effectively test their business ideas to gain quick traction? Uh, 4.5 has limited number remaining, so I'll change over to another one. Um, let's keep going for now. So, how do clinician founders effectively test their business ideas to gain quick traction without wasting months on trial and error? What one simple strategy clinician founders can use to monetize quickly so their business gives them more freedom rather than stress? Right. So let's go with the first question. So I'm gonna uh, so so I'm going to go with the first question of what's the first thing clinician founders need to do to consistently move from idea overwhelm to measurable progress. I'm going to attempt to answer that question. So normally I would just start answering, but let's see what it says when I do this. So it takes us into the storytelling framework. So it doesn't need me to completely think about the answer on its own, but it's going to break it down into small chunks and small sections that lead to a great storytelling, and then it can use that to create the post. So what's the big idea? All right, what's the big idea around moving from idea to consistently making measurable progress? So the idea is that you don't need to be perfect, you just need to get started and be open to listening to market feedback and your customer feedback. Too often we think we know what the answer is and we try to convince people of it, whereas there's a huge hidden chunk of work where we put the idea out there and we see what comes back from it. So to stop treating it as a baby that we're creating, but to start treating it as something that you're co-creating, something that you're building with your avatar. So as you can see, I've just woken up. I've only had a cup of tea this morning, but and my thoughts are kind of jumbled and all over the place. And let's see how this kind of brings it together. So it's got a second question asking me what makes this important for your reader to know about. This is really important for clinician founders because they often will be stuck in idea generation over and over and over again, and not spend enough time in testing whether that idea is being received on the other side as something valuable, as something that actually solves the problem. And by making this shift with this big idea, they take the stress off of themselves. They treat it as an experiment and a learning phase that often will excite a lot of the people I work with, and just helps them iterate and create a better product and a better service and a better business. So it's going to take that and then it's going to process that and ask me another follow-up question as well as a result. Thanks. It keeps giving me a little bit of feedback along the way as well. So it says, what's become possible for you or your clients since you started this big idea? So I really leaned heavily onto this big idea when I was creating the Clinician Impact Action Ship. So I had 8 members join the action ship, and as we built it, so every stage of the journey, I collected more and more data. I didn't create any of the modules before even launching the action ship. I collected data on the sign up form. I did onboarding interviews where I got more information. I asked them things like, what do you definitely expect to get out of this action ship? What's something you wouldn't want to miss? What are you most looking forward to? And that helped me create the topics that I taught in the action ship and really helped me understand my clients better. And before this, I thought people just wanted a framework to figure out what they're going to do outside of medicine. But listening to what the people that signed up to this wanted forced itself and helped me realize that where I'm most valuable and what people are coming to me for is actually to help them go from being a clinician to becoming a founder, not just simply leave medicine. And see how I'm just kind of like explaining that to the camera, to you, to somebody who's asked me this question, and I don't have to worry about how it fits into my LinkedIn post. Right. So recall a memory related to this big idea. I just recalled the memory, the one above, and so that's going to be something it can just use. And it will always ask you. So even if you've shared a story before, it'll ask you for a story because that's just part of the framework that I've built into it to use. Right. Fifth and final question. Are there any key actionable steps you'd like to add? So I'd like to just encourage the reader at this stage because this is a relatively top of the funnel post. I'd like to encourage the reader to just speak to perhaps one person who might be their ideal client, and ask them not about the solution that they're creating, but ask them about the problem that they're facing and be just super curious about the problem. How does the problem show up? What words do they use around the problem? What is the impact of that problem? And what is the impact of solving that problem for them? And how does that person envision that problem being solved? And then you can kind of step back and say, oh, this is what the person expecting, this is what I'm creating. How much does it actually line up? So it's going to take this bit as well. And what it's going to do next, if I'm correct, if I haven't forgotten a step, it's probably going to put the post together for me now. So let's see if it does that. It's going to quickly summarize. And as you if you're from a quality improvement background, service improvement background, that sort of thing, you can see some of the principles being reflected here. It does a quick summary. You can read through it. I'm just quickly skimming through, and I say, okay, that's totally cool. If the summary looks good, I'll put it into a compelling post. Yes, let's go for it. Uh, and let's see what it comes up with. And after it does the post, it gives you a couple of options. You can create infographics with it, or you can upload your own image to it as well. So here's the post, right? So if your business idea still lives in your head or on a Google Doc, and I know one of my clients for whom it does live in a Google Doc, and we're working on that, then this one's for you. Clinicians often come to me overwhelmed with 7 ideas, a bunch of half starts, and big questions. Which one do I commit to? Here's the truth. Here's the truth is a very AI thing, but you know what? I'm going to keep it just to show you that this still works. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is momentum. When I launched the first round of the Clinician Impact Actionship, I didn't pre-create a single module. Instead, I opened the doors and co-created everything with my first 8 members. I asked them, what are you expecting? What can't you afford to miss? What are you most looking forward to? What I learned totally changed the direction of my work. I thought I was helping clinicians find clarity outside medicine, but what did they want? What they wanted was help going from clinician to becoming a founder, and that's when everything clicked. The more I listened, the better my program became. The more I asked, the more traction it got. The less I assumed, the more impact we created together. So here's one simple step you can take today so the post becomes actionable and valuable to the reader. Speak to just one person who might be your ideal client. Don't pitch your solution, just get wildly curious about the problem. Here's a couple of questions you can ask them, then step back and ask yourself, is this what I'm building today? And when you do, your idea stops being a solo project and starts becoming a business that actually works and ready to co-create your next move. So it includes a call to action at the end so that you get engagement and people can post something. You can always tweak it from here as well. You can say make it longer, make it shorter, make it sound like this, make it sound like that. By the way, it has been learning your tone of voice through the conversation you've been having. So if you speak into it, it picks up on the tone of voice and then writes in your tone of voice. So your posts may be different from my posts, right? And here, say it says, would you like me to create a simple infographic or a visual to go with, or would you prefer a photo of yourself? And here, look, it took me just about 18 to 20 minutes to create this. And that's fantastic. So I'd like an infographic, please. And let's see what it kind of comes up with. It'll pull the data from the rest of the discussion that we've had. And look, it's already switched itself to the 4O model. And very quickly it puts together an infographic. And what I'm going to do actually is just copy this post and I'm going to show you, I'm going to post this. And then the video for this is probably going to go out before a week from now. So just go ahead and find me on LinkedIn as Shubhendu Kulshresht and see how this post is doing, see how many people are commenting on it. And if you're seeing it in this video first and then you've come across to LinkedIn to find me, then definitely drop a comment. Let's use a secret code word. Let's say the word is scratch because I've got a little dog scratching image frame thing there. So let's use the word scratch. So if you've seen this here and then you've come across to LinkedIn, just type the word scratch in the comments there and I'll know that you've secretly found me from this YouTube video. And everybody else there would have probably interacted with my content. Now, you're going to notice that I've got about 5,000 followers on LinkedIn and I've got a pretty active regular posting schedule. Of course, that's going to impact the traction this post gets, but I'll show you some examples from one of my clients. where he wasn't posting at all, and then we started using this, and he's got consistent 10,000 impressions a week. So here's the little infographic. It's put together: launch, progress over perfection. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to listen to your ideal client, treat it as a creation, treat it as co-creation. Here's some takeaway points. So it's going to force people to read. They're going to spend more time on your photo, and that's going to mean that the LinkedIn algorithm is going to identify your post as being a little bit more valuable too. It is going to put a AI creation mark, which I think is very fair. But know that AI has created this, but the thoughts and the ideas are yours, the stories are yours, right? I'm gonna say, uh, can we try another type of visual, please? And I'm just curious in terms of what it comes up with. Oh, it's still working on the previous one. Oh, it's stuck. I'm gonna have to refresh my screen. Oh no. So all of that will just go into LinkedIn post help. There we are. Um, and that's that. So okay, let's save the conversation. Felt like it was lost, but it's not. Let's see what else it comes up with. So it asked me previously if I wanted an infographic, which is what it's created, or visual, and sometimes visuals are different, so it uses more imagery and graphics and less words, or a combination of both. So let's see what it puts together. Maybe what it's going to do is change the visual in the this infographic itself. So let me see what it comes up with. The other thing I've done in my usual regular weekly posts is I've given it a mood board. The mood board has my colors, my fonts, things that define my brand, and it uses that to create the infographics as well. So the infographics have my branding in there, it has my website in there. In fact, let me see if I can do that right now. If I've hopefully named it. Yeah, there we are. Here's my mood board. Here's my mood board. Can you modify this and future infographics and imagery to match with the colors and the styles of my mood board, as well as my website, www.coachwithshub.com, and include at the bottom a little line saying www.coachwithshub.com, so it's branded to me. And I'm just going to quickly check that it's got the spelling correctly. No, Coach with Shub. .com and include coach with shub.com. So it's branded to me. There we go. And I shouldn't actually start typing it before it starts, but here's the second one it's created. It's a bit too wordy. I don't like this, so let's give it another go. Um, let's upload that once again. Add photos and files. Do a mood board. I'm gonna say more visuals and less words, please. Okay, can you create one for this post, please? I'm just going to share the post again so that it has context once again. And let's see what it comes up with. So now it's going to include the little words at the bottom. It's going to keep the mood board. And you'll see that it's going to be drastically different from these two, though this one was pretty good as well. It's very obviously AI generated. But notice how like all the sentences are now appropriate, all the spellings are correct, which used to be an issue just a couple of months ago on AI. So we are advancing real quick. So we're just going to give this a second. But yeah, I mean, while you're waiting, what's been the most mind-blowing bit of this for you, and do you think you're going to use it? Also, if you have any suggestions on how to improve it, because my audience are going to be thinking like, oh, this didn't work so well, you can improve it. Leave that in the comments below. If you want to use this, find a link to it in the chat. Get started. Just get posting every day. You don't have to have it all figured out. This custom GPT is going to walk you through it. It's going to ask you what topic do you want to talk about, a question for you to answer, and then break it down into smaller bits so you don't actually even have to answer it fully. You just kind of go, okay, what's the story? What's the big idea? What do people need to do about it? What do they take away? And boom, it's done creating a post for you with a visual, which works really well on LinkedIn. So in about under 20 minutes, you can be ready to post this on LinkedIn. I'm going to post this exact post. As you can see, it's taken the text, the colors, everything from my mood board, and it's looking wonderful. In fact, it's copied the mood board quite actively. So it says the goal isn't perfection. The goal is momentum. Co-create with your ideal client. This is what happens. Start listening. Your ideas become a business. Coach with Shub.com. Boom. I'm going to download this. And let me take you across to LinkedIn, which is where I will be sharing this post. So I got to get to the right tab in this world. Let me find LinkedIn. So share this tab instead. You can now see my LinkedIn. So I'm going to go here and we're going to do this post. Come on. Add media. In my downloads, we've got this one. And so we're just going to leave that there. It's going to leave a credentialing mark. And I think that's very appropriate. So I'm going to let that be. And I'm going to paste my post here. I'm just going to work on the spacing here for you for ease of reading, right? What do I commit to? I'm going to leave this, like I said. And there's going to be a couple of people that are going to comment on it. And then sometimes it just needs a bit of adjusting with the layout, the indexing, and then just things like leaving extra spaces. If this is going to put you off, then I mean, try creating a, a post from scratch because this is a very little bit of work to be doing to kind of create your post, right? Just give it a go and see how it turns out, see how much traction you get, see how much time it saves you. Because if if you know and you already believe in the power of posting regularly on social media and a place like LinkedIn, and it's been time that's been holding you back, then this is going to save you time. This is going to save you here, not just time in creating the post, this is going to save you months and months of learning how to do this and figuring out the storytelling framework, figuring out the value, figuring out the big picture strategy behind your LinkedIn. And it's just going to help you to get started and get going and get doing. So let's have a look. So this is the post. It's going live now. I'm gonna hit post on 4th of July at 11:14. So go ahead and find this post and drop the word scratch in the comments because the dog's scratching. But yeah, tell me what you thought about this, and I hope you found this useful. Cheers.